Do you know what? I'm not even going to start this the normal way. You flew in, got in at 8 o'clock this morning. I saw you at breakfast this morning. It's now 11:30. I must have asked you for this interview about 50 times today, and you've palmed me off hour by hour.
I had meetings till about 1 o'clock. Then I went for a run. Then I went back to my room. I said to myself, just have 5 minutes, right? On the bed. Hour and a half later, got up. I Scott Quee, all the boys waiting for me with the meetings downstairs. Do apologise.
I'm only joking.
That's all right.
I like chasing you about.
Steady.
Let's just talk about the show tonight, first of all. I want to start about the FI brothers. Cowie FI picking up the Commonwealth title inside 3 rounds today. Lovely left hook to the body, finished off Kareem. There was a lot of comparisons going on about whether he would do it in the same fashion as Paul Butler did. He did it in similar or less, better fashion, as in round-wise. What did you make of him?
Really good. Back to his spiteful best. He's had a lot of injuries. He's 10-0. He had a bicep problem. He was out for I think 5 months. Then he had another arm problem. But looked really sharp. Looked well. I mean, Kareem's a former Commonwealth champion. He made him look like just some random Ghanaian that we brought over. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it's Nigerian actually. But he's a former Commonwealth champion himself. I think Butler stopped him in 5 rounds to win the title, and Yafai just looked devastating. Now, actually, my first ever major tight list that I signed from when they turned pro.
Really?
Yeah, because if you think about it, we've been doing this for 2 or 3 years.
Absolutely.
And like the ones that I've signed from pro, the first one was Scotty Cardle. I think the next one was Yafai.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Central Areas. I mean, I'm Commonwealth's no disrespect to Central Area, but Commonwealth's a big title. So for him now, he's buzzing, and now just kick on. Butler's fighting for the bantamweight world title, so the British title will become vacant, and he'll go and win that title. I was at the IBF convention. I've recommended him for the ratings. That title's vacant, the IBF World Super Flyweight title. So I'm not talking about next fight, but I'm talking about 3 or 4 fights time. I want to get him in a position to challenge for that title. So it's exciting. I'm really pleased for Cal because he had a bit of a rough time, and come back and he'll go home tonight with a Commonwealth title. It means something. Whatever happens in your career, to win the Commonwealth title, it's a big title. He
was kind of the forgotten man for a little while, wasn't he? Through that injury.
Well, when he started, it was. You going? Are you going?
I'm just looking for things.
Okay. He was red hot, wasn't he? He was absolutely KOing everyone, and then he picked up the injury, and then obviously Callum Smith started knocking everyone out. So I think he feels a little bit like that. But tonight, you saw that little bit of sparkle back, didn't you? Yeah, and he's got a lot of charisma. He's very exciting to watch, and he's a great fighter. I believe he can win a world title. I'm just buzzing about the talent we got. It's unbelievable. It's sick, bruv. It is. And the brother, Gamal, is.
It's going to be exciting.
About 3 years ago, I was watching Froch in the GB gym in Sheffield, and I just heard someone pounding this heavy bag, and I looked over, and it was Gamal Yafai. He must have been about 18 at the time, and I was like, "Who is that?" He is so hard. He's so spiteful. I mean, that poor kid he was fighting tonight, who sort of, got himself all dolled up, had a lovely pair of shorts on, sort of thought he'd come up and just box him. He got absolutely battered. He said to me after, he went, "That was frightening." The other kid, he went, he said it was, and it was. He's a huge puncher, and we're going to have a lot of fun with Gamal Yafai. And there's many fighters in the super bantamweight division that I'd sling him in with now, but I'm going to try and box him on every show we've got. He's going to float actually on Froch GROVES.
Okay.
So hopefully he'll get on that as well. And I'm really excited about Gamal.
Okay. Stephen Smith claiming the WBC silver title. He moves a step closer towards a world title shot. What are you going to do for Stephen? Are you going to try and get him that shot straight away, or put him in a final eliminator?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of options. I mean, he was supposed to fight Saucedo. Obviously, he ended up fighting Muniz for the vacant title because Saucedo couldn't defend and he was stripped of his title. So I think that's going to put Stephen probably top 5, top 3 in the WBC. He's also highly ranked in the IBF. I think that really he needs one more fight before he challenges for the world title, in my opinion. We are talking to the Japanese about the fight for Stephen for the world title. If it come up and the opportunity was right and the offer was right, I think he'd go. I'd like to see him just have one more. If it was a good performance tonight, Munoz was tough, but I'd just like to see him have one more step up before he goes for the world title, and I think we could do that probably you know, in September or something like that. So, but again, if the Japs come back with a big offer and it's the right package and Stephen wants to accept it, then I'd be up for him going over and challenging for that WBC title.
Okay. McDonald versus Wale,
Great fight,
3 on the cards.
Really good fight. I mean, I don't know what the Twitter reaction was. I thought McDonald had the tidier work, but Wale was the aggressor, so it depends what you like. But it's a brilliant fight. I've already, well, you just saw me promise Josh Wale we'll do it again, so I've got to now. But I think it's a great fight, and people would love to see it again.
It's definitely worth watching again.
And we'll do it again in September.
Absolutely. Josh Warrington, well, the crowd here is phenomenal. I mean, great support.
I mean, there was only about 3,000 here tonight, but he sold, I don't know, 600-700 tickets himself. And I'm not sure I've seen an atmosphere like that throughout the whole night for him. You know, they were singing all night for him to come out when he came out. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure that I Predict a Riot is the best ring walk music. Did you see the beer going everywhere? I mean, it was brilliant, and you need that because I can only, well, I'm sure, but I hope that at home that came across, and everyone went, "What a great atmosphere! It looks great," you know, and that's what it's all about. It's the same with the darts. When we did the darts here, we had 11,000. You know, and you watch it at home, and you know, it's, I don't want to bore people, but it's about the product. It's about the look and the feel of what you're delivering to the audience. And if you've got an atmosphere like that, it makes people want to come back. You know, and Josh, you know, if you look at the last 3 fights he's had, he fought Samir Mamoon, who's a great fighter, you know, beat Selby to win the Commonwealth title, defended it against Rendell Monroe, and then fought Martin Lindsay, who incidentally is one of the nicest men in boxing. Such a gentleman and such a great fighter, gives everything. You know, such a genuine fella. But 3 really good fights, 3 really good learning fights for him. You know, that was only a couple of weeks after the Rendell Monroe fight, and he's a nice rest now. We'll come back here in September, October. I'm going to build something here in Leeds with Warrington. Got a really good chance to do something. I think he can sell thousands of tickets here. You know, and
new British champion as well.
Yeah, British and Commonwealth title. Yeah. I mean, you know, and he's going to be following Selby as they go. You know, so probably towards the end of the year, Selby will vacate the European. Well, Warrington can pick that up. And if Selby can win a world title, you know, and we might be able to do something, you know, Selby against Warrington down the line, you know. But I'm pleased. It's nice to get involved with, you know, we deal with a lot of what I'd say high pedigree fighters, you know, and what I mean by that is people with, you know, stock, people who have won ABAs, who have won world championships, who have won Olympic medals, and they've always been privileged because they've achieved a lot and they've had, you know, great setup with a GB squad and this and that. And then you get someone like Josh Warrington who's learnt his trade on the small hall stuff with Steve Wood. Steve Wood's done an unbelievable job with him, and now he's headlining on Sky with fan, you know. And he's, like I said in his interview, I pinch myself. I'm British and Commonwealth champion. My last 3 fights have been on Sky. Headline tonight in my home city with that support, and that, you know, that gives you a buzz because you see how it makes them feel, you know. And I think that it's exciting, and we're going to announce our official deal with him probably tomorrow. So I'm excited.
They're all seeing sign him up. Though.
I know. But, you know, it's great.
Okay, moving away from the show. You tweeted, I think it was yesterday or the day before, that you'd agreed terms or a deal for another one of your fighters for a world title shot. Can you tell us anything about this right now? Come on.
No, when I was at the IBF convention, first convention actually, I was only there, flew in Sunday, got in like midnight Sunday night, left Tuesday afternoon, but it was good, it was good. Shook hands on a deal for one of our fighters to challenge for the world title. Proceeded to contracts now, sent the first draft contract over. I'm not announcing fights until they're signed because I don't do that, and also I don't want to jinx it. Until it's signed on the dotted line, it ain't done. So, again, terms agreed, hand shook, and now we get it finalised over the next 48 hours.
Here or over there?
Here. It's not Kell Brook.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You know, a lot of people were tweeting saying Kell Brook.
Yeah. I hope it comes off for them anyway. What's the deal with Kell Brook?
We're ongoing. I spoke to Richard Schaefer last night. He's away actually on holiday. The IBF will call for purse bids tomorrow, and they'll give us 7 days till purse bids. In that period, we can still negotiate. I'm sure we'll reach a deal. I want to do the fight in England. Porter doesn't really want to come to England. Likelihood we'll end up going to America, but we've got to get our act together because what happens is if it goes to purse bid, it will give him a couple of extra weeks because of the purse bid time period situation. If it's done through a negotiation, it's got to be before July 19th. No problem delaying it a week or two if it means waiting for their showtime date. So it's ongoing. I've got no doubt that we'll reach a deal, and hopefully in the next 7 days. If not, it will go to purse bids, and if it does, then everyone will bid. I think we can be competitive.
What's the chances of Porter vacating for Kell to fight for a
no.
vacant belt? No.
Not the messages I'm getting back at all from Schaefer and Heyman, which is they're up for the fight. They know they've got to fight him, and they will fight him. That's the messages. So I don't think many fighters would vacate their belt unless there was a huge summit on the and I can't see what fight they'd offer Porter that would make him vacate the IBF belt other than Mayweather, and that's not going to happen. He's not going to vacate to fight Thurman, or he's not going to vacate, So.
Okay. We understand. Oh, sorry. I understand that Mick Hennessy has made an offer for Kid Galahad to fight Scott Quigg.
Correct.
Can you confirm that?
Correct.
Can you disclose any more information about this offer?
No, it's average. I'd say the offer was average. Good, like borderline good, not bad, not very good, but a decent. Average.
Galahad's fight on Scarf?
No, Channel 5.
Channel 5.
He's not on the radar for us at all, and it's not a fight we're looking at. If we were going to make the fight, I'd make them an offer to fight the world champion Scott Quigg. But we're close now with the Santa Cruz fight. Spoke to Robert Diaz in a week. That's the fight we want, and we're willing to travel to America for the fight. Had good talks with the McGuigans. They'll fight Kiko Martinez for the IBF title, and hopefully I can secure that fight for Quigg. Santa Cruz or not, we're looking to make the Frampton fight in November. I think he'll fight. I think they'd like to fight Kiko in September, but the IBF are ruling that it's got to be before then because he's got a mandatory. So things are progressing nicely. Not disrespecting Kid Galahad. I think he's a good. He's won the British, Commonwealth, European, but he's just not on the radar for us at the moment. And I don't think that fight's doesn't really capture the imagination. I mean, normally if someone talks about a fight, you just judge it from our Twitter. I must have had like 3 tweets going, I'd be interested to see that fight. I mean, it's not a bad fight, but Quigg, I had a meeting with him today, and he's desperate for the Santa Cruz fight, and hopefully I can deliver that.
But there's no chance of Santa Cruz travelling to England for this fight. So
no, but Scott's more than happy to go to America.
Yeah,
he believes he can beat him, and so do I. So let's do it. Showtime, unification. It's a great fight.
Has there been any talks about Rigondeaux? Because Scott said to me in an interview today that he doesn't feel like he's quite ready for that fight yet.
No, and people keep saying. You get a lot of brave people on Twitter who go, if you want to be the best, you've got to fight the best. Totally agree with you. But also, if you want to fight the best, you've got to get fucking paid for it, excuse my French. Do you know what I mean? And the money's not there to fight Rigondeaux. So, to take a risk like that against such a good fighter, you've got to get paid for it. You can't just say, do you know what, I'm going to take average money because I want to be the best, man. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that doesn't happen. People have got to realise that, they're living in a dream world if they think that's how it works. There's not one fighter out there that goes, do you know what, I don't care if you don't pay me, or the money's shit, I just want to be the best and fight the best. It's not how life works. So if the money is brilliant to fight Rigondeaux, he might do, but we'll hold our hands up, probably Frampton's lot as well, and say Rigondeaux is too good at the moment. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think Scott Quigg can beat Rigondeaux. I don't think Frampton can beat Rigondeaux. Doesn't say they can't do in 6 months, a year, but at the moment, and that's just being brutally honest, you can't do any more than say that, I mean...
Well, Scott said that today, to be honest.
But Rigondeaux is outstanding. And I don't see the value in fighting him for, when there's bigger money out there for easier fights, but still huge fights. Not being funny, Carl Frampton, much easier fight than Rigondeaux. Fortune's in that fight. Santa Cruz, much easier fight than Rigondeaux. Fortune's in that fight. There's probably more money for fighting Galahad than fighting Rigondeaux. But
okay. Recently announced that George Groves has signed for SAUERLAND.
I didn't announce that.
Huh?
I didn't announce that.
I didn't say you did. I said recently announced.
Yeah.
George Groves is signed for SAUERLAND Promotions. In your opinion, why now, a week, 10 days before the fight?
Don't know the terms of the deal. I mean, I spoke to Calla probably about a week ago, and he told me he was talking to George and hoped that he'd do the deal. I think it's I like Calla a lot. I think it's a good move. I think we were out there running. I haven't made George an offer prior to when he was a voluntary challenger to fight Carl. So since the fight was made and the rematch was ordered from the IBF, I haven't chatted with George about a deal.
Did you want to?
No. I've always said to you, Coog, after this fight, win, lose or draw, we'd be interested in being a matchroom fighter. Absolutely, great fighter. But I always said to you also, I'm not going to get involved in the politics of that in the lead up to this fight, because my loyalties are with Carl Froch. I don't want to complicate the situation. There's enough politics as it is, but I did think George would wait till after the fight, and it does surprise me that but there might be some security in there where if you lose, perhaps you could fight the winner of Abraham Smith or Kessler, or but again, I don't know the terms of the deal. So.
Is it cynical into thinking that? I'm not suggesting that you would do this, but George is thinking that, hang on, if I win, then everyone's going to want me, but he wants his security now.
No, that doesn't really make sense, because if he wins, he could write his own cheques. Do you know what I'm saying?
But if say he beats Carl Froch, is there a good possibility then that you would have made him an offer to come to matchroom straight after?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
But if he lost the fight, is that a definite?
No, I always said, win, lose or draw, he's got a big future in the game. They may have given him the security and said, if you lose, you get this. Whereas if we had a talk and I was in the running to sign him, I probably wouldn't have, I wouldn't have said, if you lose, I'll give you this, But again, I'm not one of those hungry promoters that just like stalks people down and like, at the end of the day, if you want to be with us, you want to be with us. I read a piece, it was in the Times, and he said if he was going to sign with anyone in the UK, he would have signed with Matchroom. But they have Carl Froch and they have James DeGale. So maybe he wanted to be, the only, I know Sauerland have got Abraham, but maybe he wanted to be on his own. And listen, he's known Calla for a long time. I get on great with Calla, and we may end up working together. We've already discussed that. So
can you like, obviously you signed with Sauerland, but can you honestly say that you can handle 3 super middleweights of the calibre of Froch, DeGale, Groves in your stable at the same time?
Yeah, of course. Because there's a massive round robin of pay-per-view fights. So
and give them all the same equal attention.
It doesn't. Once you get to that level, it's not really about the attention. It's about delivering for them and exploiting the revenues from the show. I work for Carl Froch. I work for other fighters. If we're doing a show like that, it's my job to maximise the show. Right. So, yeah, is the answer. And if Groves wins and DeGale wins, Groves has to fight DeGale. Sure, we'll just do a deal with Sauerland and we'll just crack on. It's not really about. I don't look at it like what makes me tick more is the show rather than who I'm signing. Does that make? Do you know what I'm saying? It's not like I've got to get George. I've got to just put on a great show.
So if you can work with another promoter to make that happen, no problem.
And listen, I know who else George was talking to in America and stuff like that. So Calla was the person I wanted him signed with.
Yeah.
Because I know I can work with Calla. It's not a problem, So Froch beats Groves. Loads of fights out there. Froch beats Groves. Froch fights DeGale, or Froch vacates and fights Chavez, and then DeGale wins the world title, and then DeGale fights Groves. And then, by the way, this absolute monster called Callum Smith comes up in about 6 months' time.
It was 18 the other day.
And fights all of them. No, it's shortened because he's a beast. So it's brilliant, And I don't. People like sweet me. Oh, you must be sick. No, I knew about it a week ago, and I don't like sit up, have sleepless nights about who people are going to sign with. I just want to put on great shows. So if you want to be with me, brilliant. We're going to have it off, and we're the best, bar none. But let's just put on a great show, and that's what Wembley's about. It's about the show, And yes, Carl Froch is my fighter, and yes, he's my pal, and I want him to win. But it's about the occasion. It's about going away and remembering something that will be ingrained in the history of sport forever.
Because let's have it right, this show is every bit about Froch as it is about Groves. Isn't it?
Don't really understand that. But Froch is hidden.
It's
hidden
not just
away.
about Carl Froch, that's what I'm saying to you. This is
It's not about either fighter. It's about an event that people will remember for the rest of their lives. It's about, you know, when I was looking at the Emirates and there was a guy there, a director of Arsenal, and he was talking about, you know, when Cooper fought Ali, and you know, and people talk about those nights. People will talk about Froch Groves at Wembley forever, and I promoted that. So from a selfish point of view, that's what makes me tick. Putting on huge events that make people smile. I'll do the best job for my fighters. I will get them every opportunity. I'll make them as much money as possible. But it's about the event as well. You know, it's not just about George Groves. It's not just about Carl Froch. It's about doing something that people remember forever.
Okay. The final fight on the bill, as an opponent-wise, you announced the other day as Anthony Joshua against Matthew.
That went down well.
What was the response like?
Terrible. The problem you got is that people don't realise that Anthony's had a hand injury. It was like that whether he was going to fight, and he's been sparring for about 10 days. So originally, and you know, we looked at the Skelton fight, and that's probably going to be his next fight. But you know, he's coming back from injury. He's not as sharp as we'd like him to be going into the fight, and therefore he's not going to take that step up that we anticipated. He's going to fight. You know, we looked at foreign opponents, and you just don't know what you're going to get. At least you've got a guy here who's going to come in and have a go. A chance for an Englishman to fight at Wembley. He's going to come and have a go, and yeah, he probably will get knocked out. But Anthony's not match fit like we want him to be for this fight, and that's just being honest. So, and I understand people want, you know, they want him to fight Chisora, Fury, you know, Skelton, Sprott, and yes, that will come. He's had 5 fights, you know. If he was training for 7 or 8 weeks for this fight, sparring, no problem fighting Sprott, Skelton. But we sat down with a trainer, and the trainer said, "Look, we've had a week of sparring. He's not that sharp," and that's the truth of the matter.
All right. Well, listen, thanks for clearing up a lot of these issues. Can you tell us anything else that happened out there that is any relevance to anything going on here, boxer-wise?
Loads of chats out there. Loads of chats about so many different fighters.
Any relevant to your fighters?
Yeah, that's obviously.
Oh, no.
Stuff with Lee Selby, a couple of opportunities that have arisen. Talking about some fights with Rocky Fielding. Talking about Cali FI with the IBF. Talking about Tony Bellew, Nathan Cleverly with the IBF. It's just like non-stop. And we'll announce, probably over the next month, we'll probably announce another 3 or 4 fighters to join the team as well. So, and then once we get the Matchroom Fight Pass up and running, and really big announcement coming with a new partnership with a lot of promoters on that Matchroom TV, it's going to give us more opportunity to acquire more fighters and let them grow. You know, not just through the big TV shows, but also through our online streaming as well. So we'll be able to take in more fighters like Josh Warrington 3 or 4 fights ago. Do you know what I mean? And let them grow as well. It's about not just picking the premium stock fighters. It's about also investing into the grassroots of the game and seeing if we can unearth quality fighters who are not so fortunate to have come through that other route.
Okay, we'll look forward to that. Now, this week's done now.
Friday,
what?
Media lunch for
her?
Froch. You're not coming to that, are you? It's just for important people. And then Monday, public workout. Carl Froch, Nottingham. We'll announce that tomorrow. Tuesday, public workout. The Gale, Groves, Joshua, Mitchell at Westfield.
Okay.
Big event. Wednesday, undercard press conference.
Where?
Wembley. Thursday, final press conference, Froch Groves, Wembley. Friday, weigh-in, Wembley Arena. The weigh-in's going to start around 3:30 PM. and doors will probably open about 2:30. We've got loads of other stuff going on with matchroom fighters. Come down, meet them, signings. It's going to be like a big festival of.
Let's just clarify though: undercard press conference and final press conference not open to the public.
Correct.
Weighing is
correct. At Wembley Arena.
Monday, Tuesday, Nottingham and London, Westfield open to the public.
And
obviously
all the shows start on Saturday with the gloves are off. We can all pull.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's really good.
All right, Eddie, thanks a lot. There's so many people waiting for you out there, and it's great keeping everyone waiting.
Film them. Give them a wave.
There's loads of people out there.
Right, mate.
Thanks for talking to us, and speak to you soon.
Cheers, mate.
See you later.